Question everything, for the truth shall not be televised, and that's for sure. So with that, you know, you hear a lot of statements about being woke and what it means to be woke. And, personally being woke and having a breakdown for being woke, I would say pretty much investigative researching for yourself, not getting trapped in the witchcraft of belief, and really just staying diligent with looking behind the scenes, behind the curtains, and behind mainstream media lies in order to find the truth of what's truly going on. Same thing with schooling and education. Cross-checking what is being taught, cross-checking what is being told, history, cross-checking it, seeing what it really is going on behind the scenes that they're not putting up in order to understand what's going on. Same thing with the appointed representatives and the government itself, the law, everything based off of your own reality when it comes to you going into research and diligently studying these things on your own that is not being taught, that is not being said, that is not being put out in the people's face. Stuff that they keep behind the scene, the hidden information that the Smithsonian got, and different stuff like that. What's really going on with the different artifacts that, the Vatican chambers actually have, and what's the reality of that, and questioning everything. That's the basis to me of what it means to actually be woke. Everything must be questioned. Everything must be overturned and looked inside and out in order to get a real narrative of what they're not teaching. What it means to be in the matrix and what it means to be out the matrix. To be out the matrix is to be more woke than what the people are in the matrix. These are the realities of that. So when I look and see people that is going to Shay Shay, which is Sterling Sharp show, Mike Epps and everybody talking about it, D.L. Hughley and, Monique and the Cat Williams and all these 50 Cents and everybody coming out to tell stories about what is going on in Hollywood and different speaks on Illuminati and deep states and Freemasons and all that. I say don't get caught up too much in the hype because a lot of this is just good press, bad press. Any press is free press. Don't never ever forget that. And because of it, you can get led astray trying to follow these illuminated ones, these deep staters, these Freemasons, these celebrity oath takers who all are on contracts to come out and tell you stuff away from the narrative of what's really going on. For me, if they want to come out and do all this telling, then they should be telling about how we need reparations, how we haven't got liberation yet, how the Emancipation Proclamation has done us in for mass incarceration. These are the things that we need our wealthy and so-called rich and our superheroes to be really talking about when it comes to being able to move millions of people with their voices and with their talents and with their skills that they have when it comes to being a true superheroes coming out of our community. These are the things they should be talking about. They should be talking about how to build economic growth for their nation of people and how to come back to the communities and open up small businesses and gas stations and all the different stuff that the Arabs and everybody else is doing, so that way the Negro dollar, the black dollar can recirculate amongst themselves again by building economic growth amongst our people again. They have the power to do that. With great power come great responsibility, from what I heard one time. So with that stated, if this is the reality of having great wealth from your communities, from being from your nation, then it's your job to come back and actually make money with your nation. Other nations come to our community and we spend dollars with them, and all our money just keep leaving our community, leaving our community, leaving our community. But we got billionaires and millionaires that comes from our community that we rear up to be great athletes, great thinkers, great celebrities, great entertainers, and so on. And they're taking their wealth and going and spilling it with the dominant society. They're building businesses in the dominant society, taking oaths with the dominant society. At the same time, our people are struggling in the communities that they are coming from. Thus, there's no real economic growth, no nothing happening in the sense of what it means to have small black businesses or Negro black businesses in our community based off of them funding it to spend money, to make money with our people. And this is just what's happening. So if they really want to come out and spill beans about anything, they need to spill beans about the struggle that we're going through and how we still being maintained to be put in these positions of ghettos, slums, and hoods based off of the inheritance of our suffering and our oppression. But see, that's a trick bag for them because they're the ones getting their money from the people that is signing their contracts that's keeping us in these ghettos and slums as the body, as the majority of our nation. So in order for them to speak on it, they got to separate. You know, similar to how Kanye West was trying to separate. Because once you can separate from the contract and the controllers that's controlling you, which is the colonizers themselves, then now you can go back into your own and start to manipulate movement within your own structure in order to build your own brand and also deal with your own people, thus bringing empowerment back to your people and economic growth back to your people. And this is something that we're not seeing being done by these wealthy and rich people that look like you and I. You know, but they want to come out and soap opera talk us to death. And we don't got time for soap opera talk, especially when we got babies and grandbabies growing up in slum areas, in drug-infested areas, in toe-down areas, in areas where they got rappers rapping about destruction of the community based off of the gangster culture and the hoe and bitch culture and all this other crazy, chaotic bullshit coaches that they got us under that's really death coaches to our people. These are something that we got to really chastise them on. Because they can come out and talk all day about what Cat Williams and all these dudes are saying, but what that got to do with economic growth? This is the real reality that we under. What do that got to do with self-empowerment of our nation? Because talking about stuff that is being done with wealthy millionaires that a lot of us will never, ever have an inkling of a reality on that soil or that side of the fence is a waste of our time and our brain power, and it's not giving us any tangibles to come back to the community to help the babies that are growing up in these communities that we call ghetto slums and hoods. And that should be the most important, the most aggressive area of attack when it comes to upliftment is the economic structure for our babies, for the children coming up as our nation who is watching and seeing these ghetto slums and hoods with nothing, walking around with abandoned buildings and abandoned businesses all up and down their communities as they struggle to survive, not falling victim to mass incarceration or being deleted off the planet based off of the drug game and every different other reality that's out there to keep them crushed into poverty. These are things that we need to be talking about the most. And this is what we should be seeing the wealthy elite and them using their platforms for. Not the bickering, the back and forth, 10 million over here bickering with 12 million over here, 100 million bickering with a 50 million over here, and they just back and forth. And we watching money just back and forth. No different from us watching the games, the basketballs and the football and the NFLs. All we see is 100 million running this way, 100 million running that way, 100 million running this way, 100 million running that way, 100 million running this way. And at the end of the day, none of that millions is making it back to our communities to build nothing. Ain't doing nothing for us. And we can't keep allowing this to go down. When you got great responsibility actually when you got great power, you have great responsibility. And you got to hold them to that. There are great resources, there are a responsibility to what the resource is supposed to do to those who have no resources. That's just the reality. With great power come great responsibility. With great skills come great teachings. That's the reality to it. And if you can't merge the two, then there's a disconnect there. There's a suffering going on openly and being allowed to happen without no recourse. And this is what's happening to our communities, watching these people that look like us, that's supposed to be celebrities, entertainers, and actors, and all these different people that have the wealth. We need them to come back and build economic growth. So that way the black dollar can circulate amongst each other again based off of the ability of them to bring businesses back to our community. That's where we at. So that we can play the game, this blood game that we in, of races in order to survive as a race, as a nation of people within other nations of people